Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Tour News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Ministers of National Security and Law Enforcement and senior officials from the 15 CARICOM member states, the Dominican Republic and the United States of America conclude the third high-level dialogue of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. From gold to diamond, a diamond structure in service delivery, an initiative of the Ministry of Public Administration, and acting health minister says more precautions need to be taken in the prevention of injury-related complications. Thank you for joining us. The third high-level dialogue of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, the CBSI, concluded today, which involved ministers of national security and law enforcement and senior officials from the 15 CARICOM member states, the Dominican Republic and the United States of America. The CBSI is a high-level meeting that provides the opportunity for its partner countries to assess the objectives and accomplishments of the initiative on an annual basis.
Speaking at the CBSI, Chairman of the CARICOM Council of Ministers responsible for national security and law enforcement, Dr. the Honorable Errol Lacourt says the CBSI has emerged as the cornerstone in addressing the shared security concerns.
Advancing our common interests and strengthening our collective commitment to protect our citizens from all threats to our security. We share, after all, many priorities: securing our borders, eliminating gangs and violence, curbing drug trafficking, reducing recidivism, fighting terrorism, and so much more.
Among the items discussed by members of the regional body were the re-establishment of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime Office in the Caribbean.
The Dominican Republic continued to strengthen its fight against international crime and fostering international cooperation and best practices. Recently, the chief of our national police and the Haitian police were meeting to subscribe an interagency and bilateral agreement of mutual collaboration with the purpose of establishing a binational strategies to confront effectively action against the illicit drug trafficking and the organized crime.
Delivering the feature address, Prime Minister the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar says the CBSI is indeed a signature event which was launched some 3 years ago in Port of Spain by the President of the United States, Barack Obama. She says it is fitting to have such a meeting in order to evaluate their progress and address security challenges.
And so it is against this background that the CBSI is a sheet anchor against the storm. More than ever, we must be self-critical. We must be relentless in our efforts to overcome the tide of terror. We must grasp the opportunity given by the USA to form a virtual Iron Atlantic wall while we recommit ourselves.
The Prime Minister underscores that our Caribbean states must be in a position to articulate its needs.
And so, I wish to emphasize the importance of strengthening our partnership through enhanced cooperation. Indeed, that is the theme for this dialogue. The Caribbean-US Framework for Security Cooperation that we all acceded to in 2010 defines 3 levels of engagement: political, diplomatic, and technical.
She says we must maximize the use of these mechanisms to explore and enhance this cooperation and strengthen this partnership.
Today, together with the US, CARICOM, and the Dominican Republic, we must therefore strive through this dialogue to critically discuss the best ways in which we may combine our strengths and capabilities to deliver a more prosperous and peaceful environment to the present and future generations.
The first such dialogue was held in Washington, D.C. in May 2010, while the second was held in the Bahamas in November of 2011. Previous to this meeting, members met behind closed doors in Port of Spain on Monday to discuss matters of security within the region. Crime and security strategy in the region was high on the agenda, as well as the implementation of the Caribbean Community Social Development and Crime Prevention Action Plan. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Acting Health Minister Dr. The Honorable Suraj Ratan Rambachan says more precautions need to be taken in the prevention of injury-related complications. Speaking at a conference aimed at addressing violence prevention and control, the minister says while preventing injury-related deaths remains a challenge globally and steps are being taken to enforce legislation at a local level.
Approximately 1.5 million people die annually as a result of some sort of injury sustained by violence. These startling statistics put forward by the World Health Organization, WHO, states the case for greater need for a developmental strategic plan for injuries, violence prevention and control. Speaking at the launch of the National Stakeholder Workshop for the creation of such a plan, Local Government Minister in the capacity of Acting Health Minister Dr. Suraj Ratan Rambachan says there is need for greater education efforts to prevent such injuries.
Even within the 21st century, with the development of new technologies and a greater expanse of education to the masses, injury and violence, they are still pressing global issues. The education of the general public on these issues is also a key step that must be taken to facilitate prevention. We must push for steps to educate our public on what to avoid, what is safe, and what may cause serious and/or fatal injury, and what can be done medically to avoid death if they are injured.
He adds that while there is current legislation assisting in the prevention of injury-related deaths, much more was needed.
All of these pieces of legislation contribute to improving and protecting the safety of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago through avenues such as lowering domestic violence cases, increasing driving and vehicle safety, protecting against harassment, and protecting citizens at their various places of employment, and let me say by extension should include the homes. These also provide an avenue for our citizens to protect themselves legally if any violent or injury-related accidents were to occur.
Minister Rambachan says he remains an advocate for defensive driving to be implemented at the nation's schools for students of age for their permits. He is also urging drivers of heavy vehicles to take precautions while on the roads, as they were responsible for other lives as well.
This is a good opportunity for me to make an appeal once more, especially to those who drive heavy vehicles on the roads, and also to the owners, fleet owners in the country, that you ensure that not only are the vehicles that they drive properly equipped, and that the maintenance on those vehicles is done in a preventative fashion, but you also keep reminding the drivers that a vehicle is a weapon in the hands of the user of that vehicle, and that they must in fact ensure that they use that vehicle very responsibly on the roads. Should we allow drivers to drive more than 8 hours a day, especially when you operate heavy equipment like that on the road, and a lot of your sleeping time is really engaged in driving in the early hours of the morning. I think these are some areas of change that we ought to look at very deeply.
Guests invited for discussions included representatives of Pan American Health Organization PAHO, members of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the National Road Safety Council's Brent Batson. The workshop covered a situation analysis of injury and violence among other issues. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
News 4 continues after the break. It was an evening of inspiration as the graduation ceremony of the YTEP program kicked off at the Piparo Empowerment Center. Speaking at the graduation, Minister of the People and Social Development, Dr. The Honorable Glenn Ramadasing, urged the new graduates to create a new addiction, one of positivity.
The minister praises the graduates and staff of the center at their graduation and called on them to become model citizens. It is the simple things in life that matter, he says. Addressing the graduates of the YTEP program in Piparo, he used this scenario to explain his message.
Malaria and yellow fever, it is the little mosquito that injects the virus and the protozoa into your body that can kill you and bring you to your knees. Viruses have wiped away entire civilizations and parts of the world, of the modern world. And therefore, the little things that we can do to make the world a better place.
He says the onus on them is to become beacons of goodwill in society and commends the work of the center, which he says had exceeded international standards for drug rehabilitation centers.
It is the living that takes the courage. It is the effort that you take to make yourself a better person that you need to summon that energy, that spiritual energy, that physical energy, and that is the price of success.
Dr. Ramadas Singh points out that the community of Piparu is a place of hope and healing, and therefore the Ministry of the People stands committed in resourcing the Piparu Empowerment Community Center by taking it to a next level, where greater input and output can be achieved.
We also are contemplating modeling the Empowerment Center for a facility in Central and a facility in the northeast of Trinidad and Tobago. Those things are on the cards. So some of you who are workers will have to become trainers.
The ceremony included a number of cultural items and performances put on by the graduates, such as skits, drama, music, and dance. Graduates were also presented with certificates and tokens for their sterling achievement. Employees of the center were also praised for their work, as we're told the center now holds a success rate of over 30% in the 5 years the facility has been opened. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
The Indian High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, Sri Malay Mishra, is inviting members of the Indian diaspora here in TNT to attend the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention. The annual event, which was attended by Prime Minister the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessa earlier this year, brings the Indian diaspora from across the globe together as part of a global celebration to commemorate the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, which also coincides with Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention. The High Commissioner will also host several events here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinbagonians have been invited to attend the 13th annual Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Kochi, located in the southwestern Indian state of Kerala, come 2013. The celebration is a 3-day event from January 7th to the 9th. It's a global one for people belonging to the Indian diaspora, which is said to comprise about 30 million people. Indian High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, Sri Malay Mishra, says focus on the upcoming event will be placed on moving forward through the diaspora.
This time the focus of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is on the diaspora and the engagement with India, the way to go forward through the diaspora. And here we know that there is a very significant population, diasporic population in Trinidad and Tobago, and we would like to invite the diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago to visit and attend.
Over 2,000 people from all parts of the world, representing the diaspora from 60 countries, attend the celebrations every year. This year, the celebration coincides with Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary, who is revered as the one responsible for the spread of Indian spirituality across the globe.
We have built around the 12th of January, which is a Saturday, a number of activities starting from the 10th of January and culminating on the 15th of January. And during that time, we will have a series of activities in various parts of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to bring this message of this great master to, of course, he is not unknown to Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, in the year, I think, 1993, Trinidad and Tobago celebrated the centenary of his famous address at the Parliament of Religions in Chicago. And that was done in Diwali Nagar and various other parts of Trinidad.
Several events such as film festivals, health fairs, and symposiums will be hosted here in Trinidad and Tobago in honor of Swami Vivekananda.
This time we are also bringing in Tobago into here. We are doing a health camp in Tobago as part of the activities. Sunita will tell details of the activities, but the highlight is a health camp which an organization called the Tobago Indo Multicultural Association will be doing in consultation with other bodies. The third event, which we are also going to do in the month of January, is a commemorative festival of Indian cinema. And this, as mentioned by Mr. Parida, we are doing to revive our Cine Club. Professor Bruce Paddington is here. He will bear with me that under his auspices, with his encouragement, we had worked out at that time a Cine Club which had formed for about a year or so in UV.
Earlier this year, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa attended the event in Jaipur as a guest of honor by the Government of India. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. The West Indies managed to keep the one-day international series versus Bangladesh alive with a 4-wicket victory on Wednesday in Dhaka. Now, the regional side were 2-0 down and will be hoping for 2 more victories to clinch the series. Once again, it was Marlon Samuels leading the way with the bat, but it was Sunil Narine who helped restrict the host with a fine display of spin. The West Indies won the toss and sent their opponents into bat. They reached 57 before the fall of their first wicket, but batsmen left rapidly in the middle order. 52 by Mahmood Mudala helped propel the host to a 227 all-out, with 38 from Mushfiqur Rahim and 33 from Anamul Haq being the other notable contributions. Narayan accounted for the top order and came back to get rid of the dangerous Mashraf Mortaza to end with figures of 4-4-37. The Windies' reply got off to a wobbly start, losing Chris Gale with the score on 15, but a 111-run partnership between Kieran Powell and Marlon Samuels put the West Indies in control. Powell's departure in the 27th over for 47 slowed the pace to victory, but Samuels' good form continued as he recorded his 4th ODI century with a fine 126. The West Indies reached the target with 3 overs remaining to register a 4-wicket win. The 4th ODI will be contested in Dhaka on Friday. More news after the break. Thank you for staying with us. From Gold to Diamond, a diamond structure in service delivery, an initiative of the Ministry of Public Administration, development of the public services to meet the needs of citizens.
From the citizen's perspective, remember, one of the things that we do when we talk about public service and redesigning public services, the objective is that it is not being redesigned in the interest of making the job easier for public servants. It's being designed to make the job easier for the citizen, to make access easier for the citizen. And that is what we mean by a citizen-centric public service. Very important in there is the zero wait time for the citizen. It's a zero cost for the citizen. Because by being able to deliver these services by the various channels, we are able to reduce the cost of delivery of that service to the citizen, meaning the citizen doesn't have to travel, less cost to that citizen, less time lost to that citizen. Can you imagine citizens having these services at their doorstep in the time frames that we are speaking about? The quality of life of Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine what this will do for them in terms of leisure, family life, Imagine what the impact it will have on citizens in terms of creativity, innovation, especially for entrepreneurs in our country when they are not bounded and they are not burdened with the bureaucracy of government services.
We are all for improvement, and improvement in a manner that will see the public officer wanting, willing, enthusiastic to perform his service to the public.
We are on our way to achieve that diamond standard.
Diamond standard is achievable as we work towards from gold to diamond. We can look forward to a more citizen-centric society, and we work to build a relationship with all the stakeholders.
Based on everything that they are looking to implement, the plans and the vision that they have, I think they will be able to achieve that diamond vision that they want from gold to diamond.
Yes, we can. I believe so.
I like how it's going. Maybe with a little push and a little more effort by the public servants, then we will get there.
We can definitely reach diamond. Trimbegonians are very innovative people. We open-minded, we fair, and I think if we stop just bickering for nonsense, I think we can reach there a lot sooner than anybody thinks.
Totally, most definitely reach a diamond status.
I believe they will make it from gold to diamond.
In order for us to reach a diamond service, most of us have to want it. We're not waiting for it to just come to us and not expect to take it. You have to want something to achieve something to reach that stage.
A diamond standard, that is a high level, and I think we are capable. We do have the technical capabilities, we do have the dedication in people, and I think once people are given that incentive and they are motivated into producing more and to being better and bettering themselves, understanding the holistic goal to be achieved, I think we could in fact achieve it.
Going from gold to diamond, Trinidad and Tobago is still a relatively young country, and if we go in for diamond, we go and we press on it with full force. And I think this is really where the public service has to go.
Achieving the diamond standard, what we need is the public servants to be more informed in where we are going, to be committed to this new idea, and to be part of the whole progress of making the public service a more efficient and effective place to work in.
Yes, I think they can.
It seems to be working.
It is possible to achieve a diamond structure.
Yes, I believe so. Normally it starts from the bottom, reaching the people at the bottom, and then working your way up.
Diamond structure in service delivery is always possible, in that you always strive for excellence, you always strive to do things better, you always strive to excel in whatever you do. So once you put your mind to it, once you put everything into it, you can achieve that.
Diamond surety. Positively, yes, diamond.
Once people are willing to take on that challenge, we have a win right there.
Well, on that diamond status note, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.